The only reason that I'm covering this is because it's trending in Romania. And it's absolutely hilarious. I mean, people are literally asking the question, is Prince Louis's face at the Jubilee the face of a spoiled brat? Or is it just a normal 4-year-old? The fact that journalists are asking whether or not this is the face of a normal 4-year-old gets me thinking, how many of these journalists actually have children? Not only that, like, do you not remember when you were a kid yourself? Question, have you ever stuck your tongue out when you were a kid? But no, they need to call the experts. And this is another thing that I love about modern culture. We just can't understand things anymore using our senses. No, like, even for the most trivial shit imaginable, you need to ask the experts. So they went to Caitlin Soule, a licensed family and marriage therapist based in California. They went to someone based in California to explain something which is happening in the UK. It's happening in the UK. And they go to California. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's relevant. But, you know, it's the author of A Little Less of a Hot Mess. The Modern Mom's Guide to Growth and Evolution. Why is it just like the mother guide and not the parent's guide? Like, I just don't know whether or not is it because I do this for a living and I constantly read the papers and I gotta be in touch with the culture that I'm noticing like these tiny things which tell my brain that something is wrong. Is it a professional flaw or is it something that's actually wrong? The Modern Mom's Guide. It's like, why not the Modern Parent's Guide? Does the father, or maybe, you know, maybe the father is already aware. That's why we have mansplaining, because men already know everything, so they're the only ones capable to splain. Which one is it? But apparently, the experts say that the behavior is completely normal and developmentally appropriate. Well, if the California experts are saying that it's normal and appropriate, now I have questions. Now I'm starting to raise questions if it's normal or not. With children around his age, Soule continued, part of their development task is to push boundaries and figure out how to be in the world. And they can't do that without pushing boundaries. They are really learning from us and they are mimicking our behavior. And I am sure he's been shushed plenty of times. They truly learn from our behavior. Man, when I was under communism, you know, when the progressive people were in charge, the culture that they had was spare the rod, spoil the child. My grandmother would whoop my ass if I pulled this shit in public. And I gotta say, you know, I disagree with the California experts. It is a spoiled brat. I would not have done this with my grandmother. No, like, it would not happen. Because I knew that eventually I would have to go home. And, like, my grandmother had this sadistic way. It's like, bring me the stick. You know, like bring the daddy belt. It's not that she couldn't bring it herself. But the journey towards the stick was a journey of deep philosophical meditation. Like, I was contemplating of what have I done. Or, you know, like, it was part of the punishment. It was integrated, if you will. So yes, I would not have done this. It is a little bit surprising, though, because when you're a member of a royal house, they would actually have standards. Like, you would have the best teachers, and you would be educated in a very interesting way. Fun fact. In the royal houses of the past, the teacher wasn't allowed to punish the prince, because the teacher was a lowborn compared to the prince. So what they had was, like, the prince would have a friend, and whenever the prince did something bad, the friend would get whooped. Right? Like, the friend would get a spanking instead of the prince. So the prince would feel bad seeing his friend constantly getting spanked. Now, that was a little bit more conservative, you know? And maybe that type of education would prevent this. Some Twitter commentators mocked Middleton and her lack of control over her son. Why would you go on a far-left extremist platform in order to take parental advice from people? How many of these Twitter commentators, and heaven forbid if they got blue check marks, how many of them do you think actually have children? I mean, if you never have a child, and you also have amnesia, and you don't remember how you were like when you're 4 years old, can you even accurately assess the situation? She had a lack of control over her son. Yeah, no, what do they want her to do? Become Charles Xavier and mind control the kid? One user wrote, "True, but a well-raised child would never try to shut a parent like that." Oh, get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. You never tried to shut your mom when you were a kid. Not once. It never, ever. I don't believe you. I literally do not believe that there are people out there, especially boys, who at no point talked back to their parents. The adults are the ones to blame. The kid is doing what they allow them to do. Like, but again, like, what do you want her to do? If she started spanking him right there and then, I'm pretty sure the conversation would have been far worse. Like, there would be even more people on Twitter going, "Oh my god, she spanked her child." You know? Even though they probably got spanked as well when they were young. But, like, if she would have done that, if she was like, "Enough! Spack!" There's actually an entire movie called The Slap. I would suggest you watch it, because it literally talks about this. So anyway, the couple have reportedly taken a more modern, hands-on approach to parenting, one that bucks the traditional, more regimented child-rearing style favored by many royals. Instead of hiring a team of kid-minding staffers, they have only one nanny. Yeah, I mean, it's as I mentioned before. The way royals raise their children is quite different than the way normal people raise their kids. And maybe, you know, they do have taken a better approach. Being a royal and being surrounded by so many staffers and experts and teachers from the age of 4. In one way, it's nice, because you're born in royalty. You don't have to pay taxes, right? But in the other way, it's a gilded cage, because there's so much protocol and so many things expected of you. That fairy tale, The Prince and the Beggar, where the prince finds a person that looks identical to him, but he's a beggar. So the beggar wants wealth, and the prince wants freedom. So they switched around, and they both find out the negative aspects of the other person's lifestyle. Very interesting story. You guys should check it out. So yeah, I mean, I find it like bizarre that people have to ask whether or not this is a normal behavior from a 4-year-old. I mean, it is a 4-year-old, and you can't just look at one event. This is another thing that I hate about modern culture, is the culture of the soundbite, the culture of the TikTok video, where people just analyze one event, one instance, and they think they have that person pinned down. I mean, maybe this is a very well-behaved child, but like at this particular event, he acted out. That doesn't mean that he acts out on a consistent basis. Alternatively, maybe it is, you know, maybe he does act like this, but you can't just tell from watching one instance of an event and make the guess, oh, well, he's always like that. And this is what people do nowadays, you know, like someone says an off-the-cuff joke, okay, clearly the person is a racist. Like, you cataloged him, boom, bam, you put him in a file and you forget about it. No more redemption, no more talks, no nothing. And I don't know if this is a correct way of thinking, if this is a place that creates positive societies, but anyway, let me know what you guys think, and I'll hear from you in the comment section. Take care.